What's going on, people? What's going on? Welcome to Fugitive TV. As long as I'm here talking to you, Breezy, I'm always having an awesome day. Thank you for even mentioning that. I'm hoping your day was just as great. Hey, Jenny. Hey, it's Jenny. Make sure y'all get that spotlight in here. So we're going to have a great live tonight. We're going to talk about a couple topics. As you can see right there, I got Anna Kepner, Ellen Greenberg, and what Hulu did not show or talk about. David and Celeste, and how the police are saying there's probably going to be no arrests. And any updates on Kada Scott that I've been covering. So we got a few topics going on. That way it's not the same thing, and keep everybody involved. We're just waiting for a few more people to get in. Few more. So this is Fugitive TV. I appreciate everybody that's been, liking, subscribing, watching the channel, and watching all the developing cases with me, and even for people that's been reaching out, email, everything. I appreciate that. People been following me on TikTok, Instagram. It's been amazing. It really has. Let's see here. The first thing we're going to get into is Anna. We're going to get into Anna Kepner first. All right. Yours was great. I'm glad yours was great. While we're waiting for some people to get in here, where you from? Thanks for the likes. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. All right, so I got a video that I have up of this young lady. She is, I want to give her credit, actually. Let you guys know where she's. Let's see here. Her name is Cindy G, okay? Her name is Cindy G, and I know she's been following the Anna Kepner situation. Yeah, I just started. You missed nothing. You came just in time. Illinois is in the building. Illinois. Okay, all right. Okay. But yeah, you came just in time. So as you see, I'm gonna move this over. We got a few talking points we're going to get into. All right. So it's not going to just be one thing. Anna Kepner, Ellen Greenberg, and what Hulu did not show. David and Celeste, and how LAPD saying there's probably going to be no Celeste, which is horrible. And I'm going to give you a brief rundown of each case just in case you're not familiar. So I will describe it, real quickly for you. And then, of course, any updates on Kada Scott that either I have found or maybe you guys have found. Michigan, Michigan. See, you here to the Eagles game. I got you. I got you. Hey, I don't blame you. All right. So for those of you people that are not familiar, Anna Kepner was the young lady. She was 18 years old, and she went on a cruise. Now, at first, they didn't say who she went on this cruise with, okay? But then the media came out later on and said she was with her family. Well, during this cruise, they found her unalived the day before the cruise came back to Miami. Now, she's originally from Florida. They went on a cruise to celebrate her life because she was just about to graduate high school. Um, she was going to go to the military. I believe it was the Air Force. So it was kind of like a celebration. Well, the cruise came back November 8th, but November 7th, they found her unalived. Now, there is a time that supposedly they're saying they found her unalive. Now, this time is conflicting. Some people they really haven't said that's the time she passed or the time they found her. They really haven't said, but they are saying 11 a.m., 11:17 actually. So 11:17 is when they found her. Now, like I said, they really haven't said if that is the date of when she passed, or I'm sorry, the time when she passed, or the time when they found her. So it's kind of up in the air for that one. Now, right now, there is no way, they're not even telling us how or anything, why, who, nothing that happened. And it's not even us, supposedly the family. They're not even telling the family. And it's like a big hush right now. Now, I did do a video on this before, a few days ago about cruise ships and Anna, how cruise ships operate. And cruise ships do not have their own police. Okay, so anytime you go on a cruise ship, there's no police on a cruise ship. It's all security guards or employees of that cruise ship you're on. So if some sort of criminal activity happens, somebody gets unalived or something like that, police are not coming onto the cruise ship. It is actually employees of the Carnival Cruise or Norwegian, whatever it is, that actually comes and they investigate. Now, are they good at investigating? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know, but they're not actual police. They have holding cells for you if you get in trouble, but that's pretty much it. And the reason why is because a lot of these ships, or I should say almost every single one of these ships, are registered out of a different country. They're not even registered in USA territory. It's out of a different country. So they avoid taxes, they avoid all these things. And because of that, they can get away with certain things that a regular business, um, you know, could, I should say, can't, that's here on land in the USA. And then also they're out in water, which is called maritime law, because once you pass a certain border in the water, it's almost like a free for all. So if something major happens, then of course they'll call local and law enforcement or FBI when they get back to port, and then they'll come on, do their investigation real quick. If it's something really major, like some serial unaliver running around, then maybe they'll stop the ship and keep it from selling out. But besides that, people will jump back on and the ship takes off again, because what they did was they took Anna's body out of the ship, and about a couple hours later, people boarded right back on and they left again, like nothing happened. So that's pretty much what happened with Anna. So right now, nobody knows anything with her or anything like that. She said, "Hey, fugitive, D Selects. Is that how you say names? D Selects. Everybody's calling me fugitive now. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody's calling me that." Said foo foo. All right. So there's this video right now. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay. We can watch this together and see exactly what she's talking about on this situation.
Titusville, Florida senior who died aboard the Carnival Horizon cruise ship on November 7th during a family vacation. Today, her family is actually speaking out. Her father has spoken to the media And what he is saying is truly heartbreaking. This is a picture of Anna, along with her father, Christopher, and her mom, as well as some other family members here. And Christopher has, again, spoken to reporters and has said, quote, everybody was questioned. Everybody came off that ship. I don't know who they are looking at or what their investigation is, end quote. Y'all, that's Anna's father saying that he has no idea what the FBI is doing. And he says more. He goes on to say more. He says, quote, the FBI hasn't shared anything with me yet.
So, just like I've been telling you guys, they're not giving any information. I mean, how would you feel if you went on a cruise and you went with your family and you took your daughter to celebrate her life, son, any relative, even a friend, and then something happened with them and these people aren't even giving you no information of exactly what happened. So, and this happened, November 7th. So, what's the date today? November 16th. Almost 10 days ago, and they still don't even know, or they won't tell the family what happened. Now, I have some thoughts of maybe like, why certain things they're not saying. But the being the father situation, as in like, wow, this happened to my kid, and I can't even figure out like why this happened to my kid and who, where, and what, whatever. It is not right. But I do know a lot of these cruise ships, they want to protect themselves. So that's one of the reasons why they don't have police on board, right? They don't have no, because even when you fly on a plane, some of these planes will have air marshals. Think about it, you're in the sky, so they have air marshals, right? But because these ships are registered out of different countries, Bahamas and things like that, they don't have to go by those laws. Now, Congress has tried to pass law to where they would have people on board that's sort of like an air marshal. I guess it would be a sea marshal, but it doesn't get passed. They keep turning that down, and I wonder why. But it makes you think like, if something did happen to her, let's say somebody did this to her, is the cruise ship covering it up to save their own tail? Um, they don't want nobody to go on cruise scared. They want people to keep buying these tickets that are extremely outrageously priced too, on top of that, and keep going on these cruises. Thank you for the likes. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. But let's get back into more of what she's
I
got.
would imagine they're going to be in contact with me about it, but I know as little as everybody else, end quote. Y'all, let that sink in. It has been almost a week, and her family knows nothing. And he says one more thing. He goes on to say one more thing. I have no idea what is going on right now. We're just trying to sit still and wait for answers. So while there are rumors circling around about what happened to Anna, y'all, the family is being kept in the dark of what happened to her. They are saying that people.
Hey, what's going on? Pretty face Nikki. We're talking about Anna Kepner right now. Um, I ended it right there where she said there's a bunch of speculation going on what happened. Right now, there is some people saying, now I don't know where these speculations came from. I don't know if anybody knows. One is that somebody used a weapon and poked her to death. That they found her with multiple wounds on her. That's what one speculation is saying. Like I'm saying, I don't know if this is true, and I can't find anything to back this up. That's a fact. So who knows who started this? Um, Another speculation is that it's a OD incident, that she was partying. There was also some friends on board with her, and it was a OD. I don't know if that's true either. Now, when the cruise ship docked, there were some people on the cruise ship that have spoken out, And they did say two people were getting arrested. Okay, two guys actually were getting arrested, put in cuffs when a cruise ship got docked by local law enforcement. So some people are thinking, were these two guys connected with what happened with Anna? There's no fact on that either. Now, there's one thing I can tell you. You would think that, oh, these two guys got arrested. Yeah, no, that's not what happened. That's on the cruise ship. So some people don't know. When you go on cruise ships and you give them their information, you got to give them your passport, right? For most of these cruise lines. If you're going somewhere local, it's your driver's license. They take your name, they take your information, and you know what they do with all that? They run it. They run it to see if you have any warrants. All right. The reason why they do that is because let's say you got a warrant and you get on this cruise ship and you want to sell out and escape. The cruise ship only usually has a couple stops, right? But they know where they're stopping at. So if you got off one of these stops and by the time they get back and they're like, this person had a warrant, so they know exactly the stop you got off of. They know you got off at Mexico and you didn't board back on. So they know where to go look for you at. All right. So they never arrest you when you're getting on the cruise. But it's when you're coming back. When you're coming back and you think, and you just had the time of your life for 6, 7 days, and you've been drinking and everything else, and you go to leave, bam, cuffs are getting slapped on you. You know you had a warrant for your arrest, and you just had the time of your life. Now it's all crashing down. But that could be a possibility for these two guys. We don't know. They're not telling us anything. Good evening, Ebony. Good evening. Glad you can join us. But yes, that could be the possibility for these two guys of why they got arrested. Now, I'm not sure if she's going to tell, that, but let's find out.
People were questioned. We do know that. We know that the FBI is or has looked at surveillance video. We know that her time of death was 11/17. And let me clarify what my video about yesterday was when I said her time of death was 11/17. Many of you came on and said that is when she was pronounced dead by the FBI or whatnot, not when she was actually dead. So we are assuming that is the time that she was found at 11:17 a.m. on Friday, not the time that she actually passed away. Yeah, this to me is just getting more and more bizarre by the minute. Again, we're talking about an 18-year-old senior who had her life in front of her, a cheerleader, a scuba diver, so
Make sure you
well
guys hit that
loved,
like.
and her
Anybody
dad
new,
actually
subscribe.
said in one of the articles that I read that she was so bubbly and she was like she lit up a room when she walked into it. I mean, y'all can only imagine the devastation that her family is going through right now. Now add on to that they are being told nothing. And again, if you saw my video yesterday, you know how adamant I am about cruise security and the lack of it. Cruise security, they're not real police. They're employees of the cruise line, okay? Yes, they can detain people in a holding cell, if you will. They can write reports, but they cannot conduct a full criminal investigation. They're not armed. They do not have arrest authority. Another thing I want to point out is that many, many, many of you commented or DM'd me saying, okay, Anna was found on Friday. The cruise Horizon was back at port in Miami on Saturday. Many of you commented or DM'd me saying that you or a family member or friend was on that same exact ship, the Horizon, porting, coming out, whatever y'all say, from Miami that Sunday.
I got emails of people telling me the same thing, that they were on the cruise or they were actually getting on the cruise when they were carrying her off. I got a couple emails that said that as they were carrying Anna's body off, they were actually getting on the cruise. That's how I know the cruise left so quickly, because some people emailed me that and they were showing video. They showed me video of them actually taking her out And then as they're taking her out, a couple minutes later, these people are coming and grabbing luggage and putting luggage in like nothing happened, you know? And not only that, did it happen in the room she was staying at, or the cabin they call it? Did they clean the cabin? Did somebody just go? Do they close that cabin off? You know, right? It's just it makes you wonder a bunch of things. But like she said, yeah, these cruise lines don't have real police. There's just security. That's all they are. And it just makes you wonder what type of thorough investigation can these cruise lines really get, and you know, what can eggs actually do? So that's why you have a lot of criminal activity going on in the cruise line. That's why you hear so many people missing, so many people getting on a lot, all kind of things you hear. Now it's not a lot, but you do hear it. And when you hear it, it's always a mystery. Think about it. It's always a mystery. Always. What's the Netflix series that just came out with the lady who has been missing since like I think like the 90s? And they just came out the Netflix series because some people are saying she's still alive and she might have been trafficked. Um, there's no police. So if an employee does something on a cruise ship, hey, they can cover it up easy. If somebody else does something on a cruise ship, they can cover it up easy. Thank you guys for joining in. Let's see if she got anything else important to say.
One day after, one day. Again, like I said, very little screening process, no TSA. Again, many of you have commented and said that it is extremely easy to get things on board a cruise ship. And let's not forget, these cruises, they're floating cities. The Horizon had 3,960 passengers, 1,450 crew members. So, and again, no real police. And let me.
So that's almost 5,000 people. 5,000 people that's on this cruise line. So if something happens to you or a loved one or something, and then they go in to investigate with their security, think about all of those people that either could be a witness or didn't see nothing. They have to investigate. Not only that, think of all the places where somebody can hide evidence. It's like hiding evidence in the town. All those cabins, the kitchens, the restaurants, the engine room, the whatever you name it, the bathrooms, all those places where they can hide evidence. So if something did happen to somebody and that cruise ship comes back and then the FBI wants to come on board and investigate, how long you think it would take them to investigate a whole cruise ship? Because let something happen in your house right now. If something happens in your house, best believe they're going to flip your house from top to bottom. If something happens at certain businesses, they're going to go into the business to flip the business from top to bottom. They're going to look in every closet. They're going to look in every rat hole. They're going to look everywhere they can to find something. But a cruise ship, how many people you think they would need to search a whole entire cruise ship? So many places for them to hide anything. So many places. And that's why these people get away with so many things on there.
Let me tell you, I understand. I'm hearing from all of you. This can happen anywhere, stats, all the things. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying maybe there should be some better safety measures taken. I mean, there's no U.S. laws, none, no U.S. law enforcement, because you're out floating like in open water. Jurisdiction gets very murky, if you will. And let's be real, evidence can be lost or tampered with before the FBI gets back, before it gets docked. I mean, if she was found on Friday and like Saturday is when they docked back in Miami, she was found at 11:17 a.m. That's what we're assuming now. A lot can happen in that time. And that is exactly why these cases drag on. And I can only imagine what her family is feeling, being held in the dark, in the silence, being told absolutely nothing. And I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but again, Anna Kepner.
I mean, tragic situation. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on that? That could, like I said, I couldn't even comprehend that. Let's get into the next one. Yeah, that, and I'm trying to keep update on that one to see what type of information I can find on there. But like I said, there it's hard to get information on things when they're not showing you nothing. Really hard. Make sure y'all hit that like button and everything else. And like I said, let me know if you heard of this one. Now, Ellen Greenberg. Have you guys heard of the Ellen Greenberg situation? Ellen Greenberg is old, but it's just now popping back up because of the Netflix series. And the Netflix series is what is it called? Death in Apartment 603 or 601, whatever apartment she lived in. All they have what? I think 3 episodes. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I watched the first I watched the first episode. Then I watched the second episode, but I didn't even get to finish it. I might have turned it off when there was like 5 minutes to go. I didn't even want to bother watching episode 3 of it because of how they were. It almost seemed like they were victim blaming. That's what it felt like they were doing to me. Like they were blaming it on her and her mental health the whole time. That's kind of what it made me feel like. Like they would give you like bits of her fiance and things like that, but they were not getting deep into it like I did on my video. Um, if you guys aren't familiar with Ellen Greenberg, it was what 2011. Ellen Greenberg was found in her apartment building by her at that time fiance Sam. Um, when he found her, she was in the kitchen and she was pretty much like sitting on the floor against the cabinets, bleeding everywhere. He called 911, and when he called 911, he said he found his fiance on the floor, and then they started asking him what happened. He said he didn't know what happened, and he said there's blood everywhere. I don't know. And then they said, well, could you give her, CPR? And then right when they said that, he paused for a second and goes, oh, there's a big knife sticking out of her chest. She fell on a knife. That was the first thing he said. Now, granted, I have seen the pictures of the scene. Now, I have a Patreon that I just started. The Patreon is actually going to be unedited. Okay, so it's going to be unedited because I have more freedom on Patreon than I do YouTube. So on there, you can go to Patreon, sign up on Patreon. I'll put the link below when I'm done with this, and I'm going to have unedited videos. So I'll be able to show you guys some of these things I talk about that I can't show you on here. Well, I've seen the photos of the scene, and for him to make that comment of, "Oh, she fell on it," like the way she was sitting there in the kitchen on the floor, kind of slumped up against a cabinet, you see her face and you would see right there if something sticking out of her. You would see it. It was a big kitchen knife. You would see. So it was like he almost made like he didn't even notice it was there. Um, getting said pretty face Nikki says, yes, I've heard of it. It's crazy how the fiance has not been arrested. Well, it gets deep, and I'm gonna get into that. How deep it gets. This man's got connections, and I'm gonna get deep into that, okay? You did an outstanding job. In no way she did that to herself. Thank you. Thank you, E-Loves. Thank you, E-Loves winning. And now I have another video because the first video I did was a part 1 and there's a part 2 coming. It's just so much detail in it, so much that I have to read and then cram down and break down for you guys, all right? It's a lot. But I have a part 2 coming, and then like I said, I'm also going to put one on my Patreon where it's going to show diagrams, all kind of things, okay? But medical examiners came in, right? Or I should say not medical examiners, the police came in. And a detective came in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the detective too. All right. Tell you a little bit about him. But the detective came in, and basically they ruled it a self unaliving right there. The big S word, SUA, self unaliving is what the detective ruled it right there on the spot. Okay. Before any medical examiners or anything like that. The detective said that she poked herself 10 times, and that the final one was the one through the heart. But she did it herself. That's what the detective said. Now, when they took her body out, her body got transported to the medical examiner. Now, the medical examiner examines her body, and what does he find out? He finds out, wait, it's not just 10 in the front, there's also 10 wounds in the back of her, in her neck. She also has a big gash in her back of her head as well. One of the wounds, it it poked her spine, and they're saying that part of the spine, if that gets injured, you pretty much can't move. You'll be paralyzed. So there's no way that she could have kept doing it after she hit herself, and then the angle of it too, because the angle, you really have to be straight behind here is what you really would have had to do. So the medical examiner ruled that it was, somebody did it to her. And then when he said that, another examiner examined it too, and then they said the same thing. So then they told the detective, hey, that's a crime scene. You got to go back and investigate. This is not no self-unaliving, because what happens is that since the detective said it's a self-unaliving, it's not a crime scene anymore. So if somebody does something to themselves, it is no longer a crime scene in that area. So which means yellow tape comes down, family can come in and do what they want. Well, medical examiner told the detectives, not long, it's a crime scene, go back and investigate. He went back the next day, and the place was already cleaned up. The fiance's family already hired professional crime scene cleaners and cleaned the place top to bottom. The fiance's uncle, who's an attorney, who I talked about in my last video, who I'm going to get into a little bit right now, went and grabbed every single laptop and computer that was in the apartment. Why would somebody do that? Grabbed every single device out of that apartment. Not the fiance. The fiance's high-powered lawyer. Shan said, that's crazy. It is crazy. I mean, yeah, very crazy. And some of the points that they're leaning on, why the detective said it was a self-unaliving. Here's one point that he leaned on. When the fiance came back up, and I actually have video footage of this. Some people sent me video footage. They even sent me still shots of him coming through the hallway, because they lived in a condo, apartment, and there was cameras all over in the hallways. So I seen him actually in a hallway, walking through the hallway. Okay, I've seen it. And I'm going to get into something else that happened in that hallway that you really don't see the media talking about as well. Okay. Now, like I said, I didn't see the third episode of the Hulu series because I turned it off. I turned it off. It wasn't doing Ellen justice. I turned it off. But from the first two episodes, they didn't mention the hallway and what else happened in the hallway. Okay. So if you guys seen the series, let me know once I get into the other activity that happens in the hallway. But the fiance went to go work out for 45 minutes downstairs in the gym. When he came back up after 45 minutes, he went to the door, and the door was locked. It had one of those bolt latch locks like at a hotel room, and it was locked from the inside. He could not get it open. So he's opening the door, but can't open it all the way because it's locked. It's got that latch on the top of it. And I guess he's yelling, open the door, Ellen, open the door, Ellen. There's even a neighbor that comes outside, and then the fiance, Sam, that's his name, Sam. It's like, I can't get in. She latched it or whatever. So then he starts texting her in an angrily way, saying, open up the door, open up the door. Eventually, he ends up kicking the door down. So the detective, when he saw, oh, he had to kick the door down, oh, she did it to herself. That's one point he's using. Now, I know for a fact when it comes to those latches, that latch in a um hotel, a lot of you guys might not know this, but you know how easy those latches are to open and close from the outside of the door? You know how easy those latches are? They're not that safe. You think they're safe, especially those ones that swing. They're not. Now, for those of you who know, I did some time. And when I did time, of course, there's a lot of people in there who are pharmaceutical people, selling pharmaceuticals on the street. And a lot of them didn't keep the pharmaceutical or the merchandise at their home where they slept at, especially if they were doing certain things. They would keep it at places like Motel 6, Super 8, Roadway Inn. All those places got the latch, right? And a lot of times they wouldn't stay there. They would just get the room and keep it there. And you know what they would do? They would close the door and lock the latch from the outside. And you know why they did that? Because think about this. Every morning, the maid's supposed to clean the room. So if the latch is there, the maid can't get in. The maid has the master key, but they can't open the door all the way with the latch. So they will lock it from the outside. It's really easy to do with a piece of string. It's not hard. So they will lock it from the outside and keep going. So when when I heard about the latch, I knew right away that's nothing because I know it can be done. That's nothing. First thing I thought of was if somebody else did this, somebody has done this before and they're professional because of the way the latch, they know how to open and close that latch from the out. But the detective, all right. See, good evening, everyone. I'm just getting here. Kadeja says she's just getting here. Have you heard of the Ramsey case? So what are your thoughts? Love your show. Thank you. I have heard of the Ramsey. I haven't got into it all the way. I am going to get into that just to see because there's so many cases, so many missing people and children, women, men. There's so many. It's sad. It's so many. They say 600,000 people go missing a year. 600,000 people go missing a year, and that's just in our country. That's just in the USA. 600,000 people. That is the size of almost a city. Thanks for letting us know. I'll always move a heavy piece of furniture to the door or use one of those door jam tools whenever I stay somewhere. Yeah, like I said, they're not, you can open those. You can, um, give you a quick example. There was a prince. I can't remember the prince's name. It was a prince of some country or a diplomat or something, in the Middle East. They found him unalive. This was back in, I think, 2012 or something. I don't remember exactly, but they found him unalive. And when they found him unalive, guess what? The latch was closed from the inside. And everybody knows it was an assassination, but the assassinator, whoever did it, closed the latch from the outside of the hallway, closed the door, used a little string, closed the latch, and kept going. And made it look like he did it himself. So it's not the first time. That happened to, I think it was a prince or a diplomat. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it's happened. Now, the medical examiner and the detective, now they're clashing because the detective is telling them, hey, this is, self-unalive. And the medical examiner is like, no, they unalive. Somebody did it. So what happens is now they have a closed door meeting with the medical examiners, the detective, and I think it was the chief of police and some other politicians in a closed door meeting. No cameras, no nothing. After that closed door meeting, you know what happens? They walk outside and they tell everybody, yes, it was a self-unaliving, case closed. 2011, Ellen Greenberg's poor family went through so much to sue the city, police, everything they could. Supposedly, they used their whole life savings. Supposedly they even took a loan out on their house. I don't know if it was a loan or they sold it. I'm not sure. But they used pretty much every single resource they can get their hands on to get justice for their daughter. And just recently, I think it was like 2018ish or 19th. I don't remember the exact dates. There was a settlement with the city. Now, this happened in Philly. There was a settlement with the city. The city settled outside of court. And then they said there was a settlement, I think, with the police force too. I don't remember who the second one, but it was two settlements. Okay, so the family did get a settlement, and also for the settlement, the case had to be reopened. Case got reopened, and it was supposed to be examined by another medical examiner. I think they were supposed to be an independent medical examiner. Well, this medical examiner examined the case just recently and said, "Sorry, it's a self-unaliving. Case closed. Nothing they can do about it now because it's closed forever." Nothing they can do about it now. Come to find out, the medical examiner, from what I heard, works for um is under the police force or the city when they were supposed to be independent. They really weren't. Now, King Tula says, "I like your case update format. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that." Now, that sucks for the family. They cannot get supposedly justice because it went to the Supreme Court, and even Supreme Court said it was self-unaliving. Now, rewind back to the fiance, Sam. Okay. And then let's also go back to the uncle, Sam's uncle, that came into and grabbed the devices. So I did a little background search, something Hulu, when I was watching Hulu, didn't mention. All right. So Sam was like a producer or executive or something at like CBS or NBC Sports. So Sam had actual good job. So he was the producer at NBC Sports. Sam's what was Sam's name? I can't remember his name. What was Sam's name? Hold on. Ellen. Can't remember his full name. Greenberg. What was the name? Sam Goldberg. That's what it was. So you have Ellen Greenberg and Sam Goldberg. So Sam is the fiance. So Sam Goldberg, right? He was an executive producer or something like that over at NBC Sports at that time. So when I heard that, I started getting bells on my head. Like, hold on, the fiance actually had a great job. It's not saying people with great jobs don't do bad things, right? But he had a great job. Why would he risk something like this? Then I started thinking, wait, he's got this job. Is he connected to anybody? Is there anything going on with him that nobody knows? So then I start, looking at him. Then when I heard Uncle came in and removed devices, the laptops and things like that, it's like interesting. I didn't look into it right away. But what happened is those devices got turned back into the police. The devices got turned back into the police after the uncle had them. And when the police started looking through the devices, guess what they found on the devices? After the uncle had the devices, they found how to unalive yourself without pain. Supposedly there was Google searches on how to do this without pain. But this was after he came in the house, took all the devices away, right after she was unalived. He did it the same night, and then gives them to the police. So anybody who does, if I was the police and you giving me these devices, I'm going to say you tampering with evidence. I'm sorry, you tampered with evidence. You getting charged and you getting arrested. You going to jail. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know about what you guys would do, but that's what I would do. You tampering with evidence because let something happen in your house to somebody. And then right after that happens, you call one of your people and they come and remove their laptops, devices, and all this type of stuff. Best believe you getting charged. You are getting charged. You're gonna say, "What? Whoa, hold on, wait. You did this? Yeah, you getting charged." So, but he didn't. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna tell you why. Excuse me. So I looked into the uncle. Uncle was an attorney. This man ain't just any attorney. He's not like just Morgan and Morgan or anything like that you see on TV with these commercials, injury attorney. Nah, this man is the attorney for the attorneys. Meaning that if you have an attorney that gets in trouble, and let's say anytime an attorney gets in trouble, like when I was covering the Kada Scott case, right? Which I'm still covering, Keon King, his attorney is Shaka Johnson, right? I looked into the background of Shaka Johnson. I did my research on him. Shaka Johnson actually has gotten in trouble with the bar a few times and had to go in front of the bar. Some guy even sued him for $50,000, and Shaka had to pay this guy $50,000 back. Okay, but he was an attorney for other attorneys who got into real trouble, as in they were doing some corrupt things. They would do corrupt things. They would go see the bar. They're not representing themselves. So what they would do, they would hire an attorney. What attorney they're hiring? They're hiring this guy, Sam's uncle. His name is James. They're hiring James. So James would represent these attorneys who did some corrupt things. Not only that, James also represented corrupt politicians, plenty of them. He also represented the mafia, a bunch of members for them, and he might be still even doing it because that mafia branch is still around. Um, and he was also part of a big scandal that happened in Philly that was called Kids for Cash. And I'm going to show you a little connection here with the detective with one of the judges that got involved with Kids for Cash. So for Cash, if you guys don't know, was a scandal that happened in Philly where these kids, if they got into trouble, like these minor offenses, of course, you got to go to court, see the judge and things like that. What happens is the judge, they would find them guilty and give them the max punishment, the harshest punishment they can on that crime, and then also send them to private jail facilities. So they would send them to these private jail facilities. And the reason why, because these private jail facilities are for profit. Any county jail is supposedly not for profit. Private jails are supposedly for profit because somebody like me or you can own a private jail. So it's for profit. In return, these judges got kickbacks. These judges got over $2.8 million to send these kids to jail. That's why it was called Kids for Cash. Now, when these kids, or I should say, when the judges got in trouble for it, it goes real deep. She said it goes deep. Yeah, it goes deep. Like I said, if you watch the Hulu documentary on this, I tried to watch it and I just couldn't. I just really couldn't because I felt like they were victim blaming too much. I felt like they were blaming Ellen too much and not trying to focus on everybody that was around her. And they did do some little like they would do like this. They would say, "Well, her fiance was jealous and had a temper." But then they would turn around and say right after that, "But Ellen also was on medication for her anxiety." So it was like they give you a little seed and then they hit you right back with what Ellen did, like a bud. And I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't feeling that whatsoever. So, but yes, these judges got paid $2.8 million for Kids for Cash. Guess who represented these judges and also the private facilities? Sam's uncle, the lawyer, James. James represented these guys too. One of the judges who supposedly that was in one of these scandals is also supposedly related to the detective that said that she was unalived in the first place by herself. So the original detective that came in and said that is also related to one of the judges who was supposed to be a crooked judge. Swallow that one. Think about that. And not only that, all this was around the same exact time. Kids for Cash happened over a year's period, but all this was around the same exact time. Um, like I said, the uncle represented a lot of mafia figures, right? A lot of mob figures, things like that. Now, that mafia branch is still, they're not like, roaming the street, stuff like that, but they're still around to this day. Right now, they're still around. They're just behind the scenes and you don't know it, but they're still there. So when I started thinking about that, I was like, does this guy, all these people he's been defending, right? Do any of them owe him favors? Do any of these people owe him a favor? Right? Think about that. Hey, man, I need you to defend me. I need you to help me out, especially when it comes to a mafia member. I need you to help me out. All right, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to get you, or I'm going to help your relative, wherever you need me to defend. I'm going to help them get less time than they should, whoever it is. But in return, I'm going to need a favor from you down the line. It happens. Lawyers ask DAs, the district attorney, for favors all the time. District attorney will ask the lawyer for a favor all the time. Lawyer will come up to a district attorney like, hey, this person right here, we really gotta let them go. Trust me, we gotta let them go. I see this and that. And the district attorney go, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take it easy on them, but you owe me one. There's a bunch of owe me ones that happen in the courtroom, a bunch of them. Hope you just don't fall into the owe me one category, because you're gonna be that one. But it happened around the same time. And then Sam's father, Sam's father had a shredding company. Shredding company. The shredding company was, I believe, it was in Delaware, I think it was. And the company, what they did was they shredded documents. They didn't shred just regular documents, okay? They shredded documents that were not supposed to be seen from other people, politicians, law enforcement, you name it. If you weren't supposed to see it, they were shredding. That's their job. They shredded those documents and they destroyed the documents. That was Sam's father's business. Sam's father and Sam also had relatives that went to the same private school as the Bidens. They had luncheons with the Bidens. Now, I'm not saying the Bidens did it. I'm not saying they did it, but I'm just showing you the high power his family had. They had luncheons with the Bidens. They had golf tournaments, meetings, all this stuff with the Bidens that I'm pretty sure Hulu did not mention. Did not mention. No. And you think think about this. You think the news is going to talk about this? Remember, this was what? 2011? Who was the president in 2011? Y'all tell me. Who was the president in 2011? Wasn't that Obama? Wasn't Obama president in 2011? And wasn't his vice president Joe? So when all this happened, of course they're not going to mention any of those names. And I had to double check to make sure. Yeah. 2011 was Obama. And his vice president was Joe Biden. So you think the news is going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, Ellen Greenberg, her fiance, the cousins went to the schools with the Bidens." And now, like I said, I'm not saying the Bidens are involved. I'm not saying that whatsoever. So nobody take my words and clip this and stuff like that. Not saying that. Okay? Give me a couple minutes, actually 30 seconds. Change my battery in this camera. We're not done. Right back. Told you it wouldn't be long. King Tula said it was Obama. Yeah, I knew it was Obama, but I wanted to Google it just to make sure because, we forget things, right? It was so long ago. But yeah, it was Obama. And Joe Biden was the vice president in 2011 when this happened to Ellen. So the dad, the cousins, they went to school with the Bidens, right? So then all of a sudden, the dad, I'm going to start this shredding business and shred documents. I wondered why he even started this shredding business in the first place and shred documents just for politicians, legal, and things like that. What gave him the idea to start a shredding business for this in the first place? Was it hanging out with people like that? Like, hey, you know what we need? We could really use a person that can shred evidence for us and throw it away. That's what we need. There's nothing like that around here. It makes me wonder, like, what would make you think of start a business like that? And not only that, to start a business like that, but how you even get a connection like that? Like, think about this. If you want to start a business right now, shredding documents, right? You probably could do it. But you want to start a business shredding documents for the White House, the mayor, for documents that shouldn't be seen. How you gonna get that? How you gonna get that contract? What you gonna do? Because first of all, they gotta trust you that you're not gonna, read and save what you're supposed to be shredding. So why even start a business like that in the first place? How? That's very difficult to start. Was it because you already had the connections? Well, obviously. But why? So it makes me wonder. Fugitive got multiple gadgets. Oh yeah. I got a lot. Gotta have backup. A shredding business is crazy. How is no one talking about this? Well, because they don't want to. Remember this. Remember, I told you what was Sam's job when this happened? He was an executive for NBC Sports or associate executive, something like that. So he was already working in the media. Then Sam went to go work for, I think it was Viacom. I think it was Viacom. I got to look it up again. So does LinkedIn. You know who Viacom is? Y'all know who Viacom is? Viacom is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, media corporation, one of the biggest, around. Viacom, I don't know if they still do, but they own MTV, BET, VH1. That's why all of them were showing these same reality TV shows because they were all owned by the same company. The same company bought them and started showing all the same reality TV shows all day long. I think they even owned at one point Comedy Central, I think. But if you look on his LinkedIn, I think it was Viacom. I know he went on to work for another media company. I do know that. Now it says he's a freelancer. But the guy has been in media. So if he's been in media, obviously he meets some high people, right? Speaking of his job, NBC, that same year, the company he worked for went through some big merger where all these other little companies were bought out the exact same time when they found Ellen Greenberg. The company he worked for bought out all these companies, or I can't remember if that company bought him out, but anyway, it was a big merger. And Sam's boss, who was like a vice president at the time or something like that, ended up retiring and had to step down for some reason. Said, Christina Dana said, you got to know somebody. Yes, you do. Then Ebony said, right? Those are not jobs you just get. No, you don't just. When's the last time you go on Indeed right now? Go on Indeed right now and tell me if you can find an associate executive producer for NBC. Tell me if you can find one for CBS. Tell me if you can find one for ABC, any of these stations. Let me know if you can find an executive, whatever he was, associate producer on Indeed. You're right. You got to know somebody to get your foot in the door at one of these places. Yes, this is live, but it's going to be up later as well. I am going to put it up later. For anybody who doesn't know, Christina said, "Are you recording this live? Would like to watch this later." Yes, it is going to be saved. It's probably going to be chopped up in pieces each segment, so that way you don't have to watch the whole thing. But it's going to be up. So I'm going to have like the Ellen Greenberg and Hulu thing separate. But it's crazy. Think about that. It's crazy, and I'm not even done. I am not done. You think I'm finished? I am not done. Sam's father, the one who owned the shredding business, you know, they found a body who was unalived in the shredding business. They found a body who was unalived in the shredding business, and they don't even know how, what happened, or anything. And hold on, real quick. Let me tell you what year was what year was it? The name of the business was All, I think All Star Shredding and Recycle. I think that's what it was. It was in the news, kinda. All Star Shredding Recycle, Delaware. Let me see. Body found. Because I want to make sure I get this date right when this was found. All right. So y'all remember when Ellen Greenberg passed away, right? 2011. 2011 is when they found her and said she unalived herself. She poked herself 20 something times with a big gash in the back of her head. Sam's dad, check this out. A body was discovered at the All Star Shredding and Recycling Facility in Newcastle, Delaware, in October 2011. So, in the same year, your fiance unalives herself by poking herself 20 times in the front and the back. In the same year, your father has this shredding business which shreds illegal documents or and legal whatever these documents are for these high class people that other people aren't supposed to see. They find the mysterious body just laying in there. The same year. Let's make it make sense, people. Let's make it make sense. The body was found by workers sorting through recyclables at the Newcastle facility. Now, they did say this. The deceased was identified as Eric Jones, a 49-year-old homeless man. So, yes, it's a possibility that a homeless man walked in there and passed away. Possibility. Hey, it could happen, right? Was it really the homeless man? Was it really a Eric Jones? What? Really, though? Makes me wonder. When you got connections this high, you can do anything. When you got the mafia behind you, you can do anything. When you got politicians behind you, you can do anything. When you got crooked judges behind you, you can do anything. So then it says police launched an investigation into the circumstances of this man. And guess what? Nothing happened after that. Nothing. It went blank. Uh Hasta la vista. It vanished in the thin air. Nobody heard of it since. Nobody got results. It was done. Done. And this man sold All Star Shredding, I believe, right after that. All Star Shredding, Recycle. Let's see if it pops up. I had to really dig deep for that. I don't know if it's going to be on Google. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All Star Shredding LLC, along with its sister company, All Star Metals LLC, was sold in 2012. Actually, sorry. Scratch that. This is a different All Star Shredding. That's a different one. Hold on. See if I can find it when he actually sold it. And another body was found at All Star Shredding too, just recently after he sold it. And they're still investigating who the second body was. It just happened like 2, 3 years ago. They ain't talking about that. Yeah, I can't find exactly. I have to go back into it. But yeah, he ended up selling it. He sold it right after. Oh man. So Sam has his fiance that poked herself to death, supposedly, 10 times in the front, 10 times in the back. He's an associate producer for NBC. NBC goes through a merger around the exact same time. All these other companies got bought out. Sam's boss steps down just all of a sudden. Sam's father has All Star Shredding, which there's a body discovered. All this is in the same year for Sam. Sam's uncle, James, who's that high powered attorney, has to defend people for kids for cash. All this is around the same time, same exact time. The detective who walked into the building and first said that Ellen unalived herself, some people are saying he's related to one of the judges for Kids for Cash. They have the same name, and the name is not no ordinary name. Matter of fact, y'all let me know if this is an ordinary name. Let me see. Ellen. I can never pronounce the name. I'm gonna try my best. It's one of those Skowashki names. Detective. Who found her? Let's see what, because I forgot his name. Are they gonna give me the name? The name is, I do mention it in my I mention it in my other video. And when I do the second video for Ellen, I am gonna do his name if I can't find it. Detective who ruled it. I can't say the S word on here. Sua. Let's see here. Oh, you know what's crazy? You Google this, right? I said Detective Ellen Greenberg, detective who ruled it a unaliving yourself. They don't mention his name in Google. But you know whose name they mention? The medical examiner who first ruled it that somebody did it to her. Wow. They are actually blaming it on when you Google this, they are blaming it on the medical examiner now. The initial the initial determination of unaliving an Ellen Greenberg case was made by Dr. Moreland Osborne, the pathologist who conducted the autopsy, after meeting with Philadelphia Police Department homicide detectives on. Yeah, so they're not even mentioning the detective's name at all. Hold on. Still reading to see if they even mention his name. Yeah, because it's a name I'm not going to remember at all. I got to always look at it. I act like I can't even pronounce his last name. It's like Shawishkowitz or something. I can't pronounce this guy. I got to look for it later. But the rabbit hole gets deep. Yeah, so he's connected with that. Now, I told you earlier, the hallway. Remember? Let's go back to the hallway. There's cameras in the hallway, okay? So you actually see Sam walking out in the hallway. You actually see him leaving like the gym. You see him going into the gym. Now, I have still frames and video of a second individual, okay? Sam's walking down the hallway, like kind of walks back and forth in a way. Kind of weird. Like he was supposed to be just going straight to the gym, but if you ask me, it looked kind of odd. Sam goes to the elevator, but before he goes to the elevator, you know what he does? He drops what looks like a key card, drops it on the floor. Now, remember, this is an apartment or a condo. It's supposed to be a luxury condo or high rise they live in. So, possibly that key card, they can have key cards, right? Probably for the elevator, things like that. He drops what looks like a key card. There's another individual who walks up, who's a male, he's got a jacket on, picks up the key card. He doesn't take the elevator, he takes the stairwell. For some reason, he takes the stairwell, goes up the stairwell, comes back down the stairwell, has like a towel, something wrapped up like he's trying to conceal something and hide it in his jacket, and walks out. Y'all tell me, am I tripping? I bet you they didn't mention that on Hulu. Bet you ain't mentioned that on Hulu. And I didn't even see the third episode. Like I said, I turned it off. Hulu does talk about, Hulu talks about, if you watch the show, like I said, they mentioned how Ellen was having some mental issues. They mentioned how she was having anxiety, is what they call it, right? Almost everybody gets anxiety. Everybody does. But she was a school teacher. She had to deal with a lot of little kids. And people were saying that they were changing the grade system that year. So she was also worried about the grade system being changed and not being able to, I guess, pass the kids because the grade system got changed, because she took her job um seriously. And when you ask other people, they said, yeah, she was stressed about school, but none of this happened. Now she did go talk. She was seeing a psychiatrist, or I think it was psychiatrist seeing, and and not only that, it's because you're seeing like a psychiatrist or a mental therapist, anybody like that, does not mean you're crazy. Okay, everybody that has some sort of trauma or anything in their life should be able to go talk to somebody. You should. You should be able to go do that. Does not mean you're crazy. Okay, so I'm not faulting her for that, but Hulu, they were talking about that a whole lot. How they subscribed her to medication for her anxiety. Now, some people were talking about how when she left school early, okay? Here's a couple things I'm going to let you know. Let me know if this sounds like somebody who's planning on doing something to themselves, okay? Now, you guys are here talking. You guys have never done it before, obviously, and if you have, I'm glad you didn't succeed. All right? Me, one point in my life, I have tried a long time ago when I was a fugitive and all kind of stuff. I thought life wasn't going for me. I tried. It didn't work. And when I pretty much woke up, I had a change like that. I was like, hey, I got to change. Something's got to go. And from that day on, I pretty much changed. But I know from a little bit of, like, I guess, personal experience, I guess, from that when I read up on the things she was doing before then, I was like, this don't sound like somebody who's planning on doing something to themselves. Because usually what happens is you're thinking this in your mind. You're thinking it in your mind. It's not a split second decision. Usually you've been thinking about this. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm going to do. Sometimes you hesitate, and then sometimes you just go for it. Okay. Usually that's how it works. I'm not saying for everybody, but I just know in my case, maybe some cases that I've seen where I've talked to people about it. Well, she left school early because it was a snow day. Okay, it was a snow day. She was a school teacher. Snow day, all the kids got to go home early. She left school, stopped at the gas station, filled up her tank with gas. Now, it could be a habit just to fill your tank up, right? Could be a habit just to sit there and fill your tank up. But still, she filled it up with gas like she knows she's going to need a full tank. That's one thing. When they found her in the kitchen, you know what she was doing? She was preparing a fruit salad. She was cutting up a fruit salad, getting ready to eat a fruit salad. When I was going through that kind of mental phase, I wasn't even thinking about eating anything. That was the last thing on my mind. Now, I'm not saying that when people do this, they could think probably whatever. I just know for me, that was the last thing. I wasn't thinking about eating anything. It was like, who would be preparing themselves lunch? And right in the middle of preparing yourself lunch, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. You didn't even get to eat the lunch yet. You had to taste it, no nothing, no bite, no. But you gonna think that in the middle of your lunch? So, and not only that, she sat down at the table and made a bunch of phone calls, right? Bunch of phone calls. Now, when the detective saw she made a bunch of the phone calls, I guess they were saying she was calling out in distress. That's the way they were kind of put it. She's calling out in distress and stuff like that. Well, come to find out, she was calling the parents of the kids to make sure they all got home because it was a snow day and the weather was bad. So she was making sure they all got home safely. She's done it before. I was thinking he left for a reason. Yeah, he left to go to the gym. Is what he left for 45 minutes to go to the gym. I don't know if you've seen a picture of this man, but he looked like he ain't never been in the gym in his life, be honest with you. Look up Sam Goldberg. Let me know if he goes to the gym and what gym that is. It don't look, even right now, it don't look like he going to the gym. I don't know what he doing in there for 45 minutes, but it didn't look like he doing anything for 45 minutes. But that's just a little bit of the information I found, you know, on this case. And not only that, some of the autopsy photos and pictures of the crime scene was off. It was off. She had marks on her neck. There was marks on her neck that made it look like almost like somebody would put your hand around your neck or somebody would do something to you. She had a big gash that was probably like this big on the back of her head, on the back. They said it could have been caused by a weapon, one that she was using to cut up her fruit salad with. And you know how you have that knife block? You stick the knives in the blocks in your kitchen. They said the whole block was knocked over and knives were everywhere. They said that's what they saw. If she's doing this to herself, why would she knock the whole block of knives over? It was just, so she randomly decided to poke herself up. Yeah, right. She must have high tolerance pain. Yo, it's funny you say that. Everybody who's in medical, when they talk about this, they're saying that the tolerance, the pain tolerance for somebody to do this to themselves has to be extremely out of this world. They're not saying it's impossible, but your pain tolerance has to be some of the best we have ever seen. Now, we've all come across somebody in school, maybe, or even later on in life, one time in your life where you have that one person that cuts themselves. You might see them on their arms or legs, something like that. But that's a little different. They're cutting themselves, right? We've all ran across somebody like that or have heard of it. That's different from actually poking yourself. Totally different. And they said some of the wounds, what they said was, and I've seen pictures of them, some of the wounds look like they were, how you want to put it, YouTube privileged. They look like it was almost like testing to where, like, let's see if this hurts, but it goes in but not all the way. That's what some of them did look like. Then some of them did look like the one on her head, just big gash or whatever. And then the one in her heart where the whole weapon was 9 inches long. 9 inches. It wasn't like a little box cutter. It was 9 inches long. And the whole thing, more than half of it was sticking in. You know how much strength that would took? That's crazy. But that's some of the stuff that I found on her. And like I said, I'm still researching it, still going through with it. I'm pretty sure there's probably still more out there. I don't know yet because it's a lot. And like I said, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to be putting I'm going to put some stuff on here like the edited version. So let's say it might be a 20-minute video edited, and then it's going to be like maybe 35 minutes on Patreon or whatever, something like that, because on Patreon I can do it that's not edited, okay? And I'm going to have all the links in the description below for you guys. So some of these cases are going to be, I'm still going to do it here, but I won't be able to say everything I want to say or show you guys everything I want to show you, especially if you want to know the full thing without me getting flagged on here, okay? I don't know. Like I said, and all this happened in Philly too. All happened in Philly. You know who else was involved in here? You know who else was involved with this case in 2000? You know who else was involved with this case? Who was your governor or whatever he is? What's his name? Governor? Was it Josh Shapiro? He was involved too. He was involved too. All I got to say about that. I'm not saying he did it, but there was some involvement. All right, so we talked about Anna Kepner, Ellen Greenberg. I'm gonna tell you guys real quickly about the David and Celeste real quickly. I mean, like, yeah, you guys let me know. What do you think about what happened with Ellen? I mean, do you think that she did this to herself, or do you think that it is a cover up? And do you think that her fiance Sam did it, or you think maybe they had somebody else did it? Now, me personally, I'm not saying me personally, if he did do it, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked, right? I don't think she did it herself whatsoever. I do not think she did this herself. But I honestly believe that somebody else did it, a third person, and I think that they know who did it. I think Sam knows who did it. I think Sam's uncle knows who did it. I think they know who did it. Now, like I said, um, I don't think Sam did it personally, but I think there's another person involved. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. Speculation on my end, right? Sounds fishy. The boyfriend is my top suspect. Let something happen to your significant other right now. Who do you think is going to be the top suspect? If something happens to your significant other, they walk into your home, your significant other is poked up 20 something times in the kitchen, whatever room it is, whatever room, who going to be the top suspect? Y'all let me know. Who's going to be the top suspect? You think they're going to let you go tonight? You think they're not going to question you? They're not going to pull you in for interrogation that night? They're not going to ask you a bunch of questions? They're not going to do that? Remember, that never happened to Sam. He didn't have to go. Remember, he wasn't in that room and get interrogated, as far as we know. Because why? The detective ruled it that she did it to herself right there on the scene. So since he did it right, since she ruled it, or he said she did it right there to herself, Sam ain't gotta go nowhere. Now he calling up people to clean the scene up, calling up his uncle, come get this and get that. Matter of fact, he didn't even call 911 first. You know who he called first? His family. Called his family. Someone else knows why the uncle removed things. He's also so suspicious. Yeah, the uncle's suspicious, of course. Think about this. The uncle's been corrupt from day one because he's been defending these corrupt people. That's the uncle's job is to defend corrupt people. That's what he's been doing his entire career. Entire career. So if he's defending all these corrupt people, it don't take a rocket scientist to put all this together. At all. Oh man. Well, the next one, this is not gonna take too long because there's not no updates. I don't know if you guys know about David and Celeste. I've been covering this case since it happened back in September. David is the famous singer where they found Celeste, who at the time was, and I forgot how old she was. I think she was 14 at the time. They found her remains in the trunk of his Tesla, in the part of the Tesla. Um and they had a hard time finding out like how she passed because she was in a decomposed state that was so bad and things like that. All this stuff came out online. Now remember, David's a grown man. David's actually about to be 21, and this girl was 14 when they found her in his Tesla. His Tesla. Nobody his registered to him. So, and he's about to be 21. I ain't gotta say much else. Celeste was reportedly missing. Her family reported her missing. Okay, like a year before that happened. Um, so supposedly nobody knew where she was at. Nobody. Come to find out, when you dig deeper, the family reported her missing like 3, 4 times before that. This case went deep too. There was a lot of evidence start coming out after. A lot of evidence. Oh my God, it went crazy with evidence. The reason why it was so much evidence because this guy is a famous singer. He was always going live on TikTok and live on Instagram, all kind of things like that. He was playing. He became famous from playing Fortnite. So a lot of people knew him from playing Fortnite, and that was how him and Celeste met playing Fortnite. They met when she was 11 years old. 11. There's record of it online when they met on Fortnite and she was 11. Okay. So he's been talking to her when I think he was like 17 and she's 11 years old. Now, I don't care if you say he's 17. My 11-year-old ain't going out with nobody at 17. She ain't going out with nobody at all. She's staying out. No, it ain't happening. He's from Texas, ends up moving to California because of his record deal. His manager gets him this house in the Hollywood Hills, which is not that far actually away from where Celeste lives. He starts picking up Celeste from her house down the street. Celeste's friends find out, kids from the school. David is allegedly paying these kids off to keep their mouth shut. It got so bad, the teacher even knew. Celeste's teacher even knew. There's a video, and I have it in one of my videos, a video of him talking about it recently to one of his classes, like, hey, you shouldn't be talking to people online because this is what happened to my other student. Look, here's a picture of her. She used to be in my class, and we all knew she was out there with him. The mom was like, oh, yeah, she was dating a guy named David. Found you through the David case. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and you're very familiar because you watched a lot of my past videos, I'm pretty sure, on David and everything. So yeah, all this evidence just came out on David that he was messing around with this girl while she was underage, picking her up, bringing her back to the Hollywood Hills home, all kind of things, right? After they find her, then there's evidence that came out that um maybe the family was accepting money too, and that's why they didn't say much because while she was missing, she's at David's house, right? Or with David, supposedly, allegedly. But while she's missing, there's video live footage of her hanging out with the family. She's at backyard events with the family. She goes to one of her cousins' graduation party, which is the same cousin, allegedly, that started the GoFundMe for her funeral. There is video footage of David at Six Flags amusement park riding a roller coaster. There's a private investigator that found a certificate from Build-A-Bear. You know how you go to Build-A-Bear and you get that little certificate? There's a certificate from Build-A-Bear from Six Flags on the same date that David was there on a roller coaster with TikTok. And that certificate has the name of Celeste's cousin, the one that she went to the graduation with. I got so many emails on this case, emails from everywhere, instant messages, all kind of stuff of people sending me things of how they would be partying with David, not just Celeste, but allegedly Celeste's sister, Celeste's brother, friends, all of them partying while she's supposedly missing. And she's 13, supposedly missing. And they're all partying. Come to find out, that house that David was in, that was rented by his manager, that's not the only house. He also had an apartment down the street that he was streaming from. And that's the apartment that I guess all the streams came from with him and Celeste in the same stream. And there's people in the stream talking about, hey, Epstein Island, all kind of stuff. Like everybody, it was a secret that was open. Well, yes, Esmeralda. Esmeralda is the cousin. Yes. Well, LAPD came out and they made a statement. Supposedly, they're saying that there might not be no arrest. There might not be no arrest, is what they're saying. Now, they could be lying. It could be. But how long has this case been going on now? Since September, I think it was 7th or 8th or something like that. And nobody's got arrested? Yes. She was felt by everyone around her. She was. I don't care how bad your kid is. Your kid is 11, 12, 13 years old. Get control of them. That don't mean, oh, you bad, I'm going to let. And that's what some people are saying. Oh, it was hard for the parents to control her, so they just let her go out in the street and do what they want. Now, look, I'm sorry. My kid it ain't happening with my kid. Nah, boy, too. I ain't let him running out the street 11, 12 years old like that, leaving with other people in a Tesla that's grown, hanging out Hollywood. Nah, You picking me up too? We all going. We are all going. No. Mm-mm. We are all. This is gonna be a family trip. We are all going. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Nah. So yes, you're right. They all failed her. Not even for messing. Here's the issue with that charge right there. And from day one, and it makes sense now. Now, think about this charge, right? Even though she was underage, there is, far as we know, no physical proof that they were doing anything, you know what I mean, in that relationship. It's not against the law to be friends with somebody who's underage. It's not against the law for that. But it is against the law to do inappropriate things, right? So if there's no physical proof, what else do you need? You need witnesses. Celeste is not here. So Celeste can't point a finger and say, David did this to me. He did this, took advantage of me. It can't. You have the parents. The parents can, but if the parents are getting paid off, if the parents are getting money this whole time, if the parents were getting money this whole exact time and getting paid off, they're probably keeping their mouth shut. Who's to say they're still not getting paid off? Who's to say they're still not getting money slipped up under the door? Money slipped up under the 5th trash can on the 3rd Street behind a stoplight just to keep shut. I've never, ever seen, me personally, a case to where a child ends up missing, then found, deleted, unalive, terminated, wherever you want to call it, and the family is not out trying to get justice. The family is not out in front of the cameras trying to seek something. You had Jake Harrell and his wife, Rebecca Harrell, doing press conferences on Emmanuel, trying to fool everybody, knowing they did something with Emmanuel themselves. They did it themselves, but they even still was on a press conference on the news talking about find Emmanuel, and everybody's like, y'all lying, y'all fake crying in front of the ABC News, y'all lying. Everybody knew they was lying, everybody, but still, we have not heard one word. Think about this from Celeste's family. Now, I'm not saying they got to speak. I'm not saying that. But usually when something happens to somebody, somebody talking. Somebody's talking. Somebody's like, I want answers. Somebody's got to pay. Not one of them has said anything. Not one. They say, yep, and right. You're right. Because I know y'all got kids, or if you got kids, right? If you got kids, if this happened to one of your children, let's just say if it happened, even your neighbor's kid, whatever it is, are you going to be seeking some sort of justice? Are you going to be seeking the truth of what happened? Like, hey, hold up here. Somebody got to pay. Somebody got to pay. Nothing. I went down to mom's Facebook timeline. I haven't been on it in a long time. I don't know if it's still public, but it was public for a while. I went down to Facebook timeline, right? This is when I became very suspicious. Now, everybody reacts differently. Everybody reacts differently to certain things. Not everybody's going to react the same. When she first reported Celeste missing, I think it was February. I went to that month. And when you go to that month, you know what I saw on her face? Now, let me tell you, it wasn't like this woman posted every like once a week or, once a month, every blue moon. You went to her Facebook, she was constantly posting memes. She posts memes, all kind of stuff, right? She was reposting things from other people 2-3 times, sometimes 5-6 times a day. She was constantly on Facebook. So it wasn't like a once in a lifetime or once in a while thing. She was on there a lot. But when you went to exactly around the time when Celeste went missing and she was reported missing, the mom didn't post the missing poster herself. She didn't go on Facebook and post herself. She reposted the missing poster, reposted from a relative. I don't know about you guys, but I just found that kind of odd. If my child is missing and I go on Facebook, I'm yes, she probably didn't upload the poster. I mean, that could be a possibility, right? Could be. So maybe she had to repost it. Like I said, everybody's different. I'm trying to give person the benefit of the doubt, okay? Everybody's different. But me, I'm going to repost. I'm going to repost. I'm going to post in groups. Y'all going to start banning me because I'm posting everywhere. I'm posting nonstop. Where my kid at? Where's my child? Have y'all seen them? This and that and that. Hey, I got a reward for you. I got something for you. Whereas I'm posting all the time. She had the one post through the whole year because she was missing for a year. Whole year, one post that she reposted from somebody else. And on that post, there was somebody that even said underneath the post was like, hey, I seen Celeste. I know exactly where she's at. No reply from the mom whatsoever. No reply. But there was a reply underneath that, which I think it got deleted. I don't know if it's still there, but it got deleted. Reply underneath that said, and don't quote me, but the reply says something like, she knows where she's at. She just doesn't care. Something along those lines. Yes, you would think there would be an outcry on a high profile case. You would think, right? Look how long Ellen Greenberg, we just got finished talking about Ellen Greenberg. We just got finished talking about her. How long has her mom and dad been fighting for Ellen? Since 2011. They've been fighting. They sold everything they own to fight for Ellen Greenberg. And then you have Celeste's family. Y'all tell me. Tell me. You have Kada Scott, right? Her family. When she went missing, her family was out on the streets. Her family was on every TV channel. Her family was trying to get the word out. Her family was out there trying to find out. Her family was out there. Then you got Celeste's family. I'm not blaming the family. I'm not saying this, I'm not. I know for a fact that they didn't want this to happen to her, right? They didn't want this to happen to her. And I'm pretty sure her mom is probably kicking herself right now. Hopefully she's probably has some sort of guilt. I'm pretty sure everybody in the family does, right? But, but where does parenting go wrong? Where does parenting go wrong? Kada Scott's family said they posted rewards. Monica said, I will be walking the streets all day. Yeah, I'm not even going to. I got my own businesses now. Um, but even there, I wouldn't be going in the office. I wouldn't be if I not I wouldn't be going to work. How could you work? How could you work? I wouldn't be paying no bills. I wouldn't be doing nothing but trying to look and figure out where, what, and why. Every bit of money I got in my bank account will be going to where, what, when, and why. All the W's. And two, I get the F, found. And two, I run into the F, found. I'm going through all the W's. Yeah, they had a GoFundMe, right? Didn't they do a GoFundMe just for a reward to figure out information or something like that? Then you got Celeste family. But yes, everybody in this girl's life failed her, which is very, very sad. Everybody in her life, it seems like, failed her. She did, no matter what this young girl was going through, she's only 12, 13 years old, right? You don't know life at that age. You don't know any better. We all been that age and we all thought we knew it all. We all thought this, and then we grew up to where we are now and we look back like, dang, I thought I knew everything, but you really didn't. We all go through phases of like that, right? We all go through our little rebellious stage sometimes, or we don't want to listen to our parents. We all do that, but that does not mean that needed to happen to her. So yes, they're saying as of right now, no arrest. And if there's no arrest, that means the mystery of what happened to Celeste will live on forever, and we're always thinking about what happened to her. It's going to be folklore in years to come, just like Ellen. What happened? And you know what the connect? And you know what? Celeste happened years later. She was young. Ellen happened earlier. She was already a grown woman, but they were both dealing with some high connected people. Both of them. Let that sink in. Both of them was dealing with some high connected people. Both of them were found unalive in ways you wouldn't even think of. Like how she ended up in the front of a Tesla. Yeah, it's crazy. But that's the update on that. We're gonna get to the last one. The very last one. Now this one is on Kada Scott. I don't know who's here from there. I mean, following from that one. But yeah, we're going to that one. Luckily, Kada Scott so far is not cold. At least somebody's arrested. At least somebody is, even though we know it's more than one person, but at least somebody is. Um, see what here. Monica says parenting starts at birth. Parents don't parent. Children parent the parents. I'm old school. I will be on that ASS as soon as I found out. Thank you. Thank you. Same with me. You could not. I would. You gotta lock me up. I'm sorry. You gotta lock me up. And when I get locked up, I'm taking my picture smiling like, you know why? Because I'm getting locked up for a purpose and I'm standing on business. Great analogy. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're dropping gems. How can we send you money or gifts to support your research? Easy. You're watching the channel, and not only that, I'm gonna be dropping my Patreon link. Just please subscribe there because I'm going to be giving you guys, like I said, unedited videos there that I can't do on YouTube. Okay. You're here before Kada, but from Philly. Oh, okay. Thank you for being here before Kada. All right. Well, just to give you a quick rundown, okay, on Cadus, in case you don't know, some people don't know about everything. And we'll go through this quickly. It won't be too long because there's not a lot of updates. But I'm going to tell you some things that I speculate, you know what I mean? But Kada Scott was from Philly. Um, she was a beauty pageant and a model, or beauty pageant member model. She was aspiring to be Miss USA, and represent her state. She was going to Penn State. She seemed like she had a bright future ahead of herself, and was going out on a limb to make sure her future was taken care of, not for her, but also for her family. She seemed like she was the one that was going to break that mold. You know how they talk about the one person that can break that mold and get everybody out? That's what Kada Scott seemed like. And I think that's why her case caught national attention, because not only was she pretty, but it was the fact of what she was doing. Okay, she wasn't just looks. It looked like she had brains too, and she was trying to break that mold. All right. Well, she ended up missing. She went to work. She went to work one night. She was working at a assisted living facility. Clocked in, went to work, supposedly clocked in, and then left work 30 minutes later to meet somebody out in the parking lot and vanished, disappeared. Nobody heard from her. Okay. About a few days later, a guy named Keon King gets arrested. He gets arrested for kidnapping, for ransom, all kind of things, right? To this day, it still boggles me why they put the ransom on it in a kidnapping. Still, okay? Not just kidnapping for ransom. But come to find out, Keon King had priors of kidnapping other people, other women. There was a video of him jumping the fence, jumping the lady's fence, going to her window, and she's like, "Call the police, get him out of here." Huh. Let me change this battery. About to be in my last battery. Let me change it. But like I was saying, Keon, he jumped the fence, right? And they have video of him jumping this fence, and this lady's talking about, yeah, go um call the police. He's attacking. There's kids in the house and everything. So he had a record of it already. After he gets arrested, some tipsters, supposedly tipsters, call in. These tipsters call in, and these tipsters are giving clues pretty much of where to go. So they tell the police, go to an abandoned school, which is called the Ada Lewis Middle School. Go to the school. You'll find some evidence. So they go to the school, and when they go there, they find one of her cards or her name on it. They find like a phone case and another personal item. Police find this, right? So Philly police supposedly have their trainees, the cadets out there searching for her and everything else. Police leave the school. Another tip comes in. Hey, you guys missed something. Go back to the school, go behind the school, and if you go right here, you're going to find her. They go there. What happens? They find her in a shallow grave. Okay. Most of these cases, first of all, that where people they try and like bury somebody, they're always usually gonna be a shallow grave, because I don't know if you guys ever tried to dig 6 feet deep or do any type of shovel work. It's a reason why back in the day they had slaves dig ditches and dig graves. Almost to this day they still do some stuff like that, because that is hard work. It takes hours and hours to dig that deep into. It's not easy. So most of these cases you will find that they were in a shallow grave. There's actually a name for the shallow grave, but I can't remember what it's called at the top of my head. But there's a name that they use, that medical examiners use. But just to let you guys know, usually that always happens. But they find her in this shallow grave after all these tips come in that lead them directly to her. Keon's in jail. This happens after Keon gets arrested. So after he gets arrested, the court affidavits come out. When the court affidavits come out, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'll give you some of the brief details of it real quick. Court affidavits come out. In the court affidavit in the docs, they do show that, and it's another reason why I'm starting a Patreon, because the very first video I did on this, when the court docs first came out, I was one of the first people to get the documents. And what I did was I went on here for you guys and started reading them for you guys and actually showing them to you. Like right here, here's this doc. And what happened? My video got taken down. So that's another reason why I'm going to do a Patreon, because I want to be able to show you guys stuff without editing it, or getting my video taken. Now, they took my video down. I think it was like in an hour, 2 hours or something like that. I was up to, within 2 hours, I think I was up to like 14,000 views in 2 hours. It was blowing up and it got taken down that quick. So then I had to do another video and read it without showing it to you. I read it from my car. But she says, don't forget to mention how, yes, I'm going to mention that too. So, but I'm going to mention the book. Don't worry, I'm going to mention that too. These tips came in, right? And on the documents, they talk about how they went and searched another home. This is before Keon got arrested. They went and searched another home, 2 young ladies, and they went in the home, searched the home. They got some evidence out the home. We don't know exactly what. They did name that there's contractor bags in the home and hammers and some other things. They took the 2 ladies that were inside that home that lived there. Investigation. These 2 ladies, come to find out, one of the ladies owns a Text Now number, which is an app you could download on your phone to get another number. She owns a Text Now number. This number was being used to contact Kada back at the end of September. Okay? Now, the trick is, supposedly she wasn't using the number. Keon was using the number on his phone. Like I said, a bunch of details, okay? I'm just going over quick. They let these 2 women go. They later on they go and pull over Keon to see if his phone pings to the exact address where they pull him over to see if it is him. They pull him over, he pings, they find him, so that's why they arrest him, right? Then they find her. Then also in the court documents, they tell you there's a video of not just 1, but 3 people involved at the Ada Lewis Middle School. 2 cars pull up, 2 people get out, pretty much take what looks like a body to the back of the school, which is off camera. 1 car drives off while those 2 do what they got to do, okay? The main car that was used to pick up Kada was a stolen car that was stolen from a pizza delivery driver, supposedly, and they burnt that car up. Well, so it's a gang that did this to Kada. Yeah, it wasn't just Keon. I'm right with you. It was not just Keon. Like I said, they said there's video with 2 other people. It wasn't just Keon. And not only that, I don't think it was just the 3 people in the video that's involved. I'm thinking it would be a 4th and a 5th. It's just that we're all trying to figure out why. That is the issue, is the why. Why her? So, like we were just talking about how she said it's all gang. So yeah, 3 people were involved on the video that they come out with so far. So far, those other 2 people are not arrested. Okay? They're not arrested. They're still out there wandering the streets. I got a tip that there was somebody who pretty much was an informant, supposedly an informant, and this informant is the one that's outside. They're not in jail, but they're outside, but they know a lot of things they shouldn't be knowing, okay? And they're giving a lot of tips. So because of that tip that I was told to me, now I'm wondering if this informant is the one who actually supposedly the tipster. Makes you wonder that too. They have a history of, yes, they do. Who has a history? Everybody who's involved. Keon King. There's another girl that came out online, start trying to defend herself. I don't know why she did that in the first place, but she started defending herself online. If she wouldn't have did that, nobody would know who she was. People start looking at her background. I even looked into her background. She's got a case on terrorizing somebody and pretty much almost the same things. Her co-defendant, the same thing. Almost everybody involved has some sort of case. You know who didn't have a case though? Do you know who did not have a case? Do you know whose record was clean? And I can pull it up right now. Kada Scott record was clean. I didn't even see a speeding ticket. But everybody else going in and out of jail. Everybody. Said the informant is the accomplice, I think. I think so too. I think the informant is pretty much, if there is, I got speculation, right? Allegations, whatever. If there is an informant, like this person told me, I think they're in on it. I think they are too, and they're working out some sort of a deal. They have to be. And I think it's just a matter of time before everybody starts going down with the ship. Just a matter of time. And I don't think we'll ever find out who the informant is. I don't think we're ever going to find out. I think they're working out some sort of deal with them to where they don't have to get on the stand and point things out. Because if you're an informant and if you give enough evidence to where you don't have to go to the stand and point them out during trial, you're good and you can stay confidential. Because the evidence you gave beforehand can lead to them finding who they were looking for, can lead to them finding the weapon, can lead to finding all that, right? That's why. So all they got to do is say this person, confidential, blacked out, redacted, whatever you want to call it, helped us find. And it stays that way. And this person, not saying they're going to be free, not saying that, but they can get a really, really good sentence depending on their role and what they did. So for example, in that video, how I said there's 3 people. Remember, 3. 2 of them, right? Supposedly character to the back of the Ada Lewis Middle School. 2 of them. The third one drove away. Third one. So if it's the third person, let's say it's the third person, they physically did not put their hands on the body, the remains, whatever it is. Now they're going to get other charges, but they're not going to be as serious as the first 2, right? So if the third one wants to cooperate and go, hey, I didn't do it. I pulled no trigger. I didn't even drag her back there. I didn't do none of that stuff. Okay? None of that. I just dropped him off or her off. That's all I did. But I can tell you everything that happened because I was there. I could tell you everything that happened because I was there. When I was locked up, I had a friend. He got in trouble for unaliving a Taco Bell worker. Okay? It was a gang initiation. And it was 3 people, actually, I think 4 people in the car. And there was this one kid, and I knew all of them. I knew all 4. One kid, he wanted to be down so bad with everybody. If he wanted to be down so bad, he tried to be down with us. We were like, nah, bro, no, nah, bro, nah, bro. He went over here, nah, bro, nah, bro. Well, anyway, this group gave him a chance to be down. And they said, you got to go out here and rob this guy. It was a Taco Bell worker on his bicycle, leaving at night, 3 a.m, whatever it is, because, Taco Bell stays open late. So they went to the guy. I can't remember how old this man was, on the bike, went to rob him, accidentally unalived him. Come to find out, the man had no money. And not only that, he was handicapped. He was handicapped. He had a mental disability. I just don't remember what it was, but he had a mental disability. So it made it even worse. Well, all of these fools, all of them, end up getting over 30, 40 years, 50, 60, except for one. One that was in the car, he walked away with probation. I think he got 10 years though, but he walked away with probation. Why? Because he never got out the car, never physically did anything, and informed on the other three. He said, I'm not going down with you guys. He said, I wasn't planning on all this. Don't put me into the middle of this. That's what he told them anyway, right? And informed all of them. And that's how they all got caught with everything they were doing because he turned informant. Never once took the stand. And he went to jail, was in PC, protective custody, got on ankle monitor, and was at home on ankle monitor the whole time. Or actually wasn't even home. They had him somewhere else safe. Somewhere else safe. Ankle monitor. Never heard from him again after that. Never even heard from him again. I don't know if he changed his name. I don't know. Never heard from him again after that. But the other three, oh, they all got time. A lot of time. A lot. Two of them ain't getting out anytime soon. One of them's probably he's probably the leader. He's probably, ain't getting out. But yeah, so if there is an informant that's doing that, and let's say their charges are less than the rest of them, then yeah, they might not never see jail. They might not never. They could probably get probation, especially as lenient as Philly is. I hear, and with you guys, man, y'all be letting all kind of people back out. So they probably giving him a sweet deal, or her, whoever it is, if there is an informant. See, Monica says, I want to know why her. Was it a sacrifice? Erica says they were jealous. A fox came up in your reading. They need to pull footage from the gas station. Which gas station are we talking about? I'm sure they have a lot of footage. We just don't know yet. Oh, I'm pretty sure. You know how I know they got footage? You know how I know all the footage they got? By tracking the car, the license plate. All those traffic cameras out there, they track you easily. All they got to do is put, you know how we got AI on our phones? They got AI on the traffic cam. All they got to do is put the license plate, even the VIN number, into the system, and each camera will point right to your car as it goes by. Every time. You're not getting away. They know your plate number, even the VIN number in your car. Every time you pass the camera, it's going to, oh, he's here. Oh, he's on 5th Street. Oh, he's on 22nd. That was how they pulled over Keon that time on the 7th, just to ping his phone. Traffic cam. His plate was already red flagged. Giving y'all a little secret here. So yes, if anybody ever does something in a car that's serious enough, they can flag your plate, your car, and no matter what camera you go through, as long as that camera is connected to the city, it's going to alert them. Just like a movie. Think about it. Y'all seen movies. It's the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Said Keon wanted to be a rapper. I bet he bragged about all kind of stupidity. His lyrics probably be used as evidence. I know he was trying to be a rapper. To be honest with you, I never went and listened to the music. I to this day never went and listened to it, but I know he was trying to be a rapper. Oh, Fox gas station. I'm not from Philly. Is there more than one Fox gas station? Is there only one? Let me know. Happened to the Idaho. Bingo. I mentioned that in one of my older videos. I mention him all the time. Brian is a prime example. They followed his car through how many states? Was it 4 or 5 states? Until he went all the way to his parents' house. And they pulled him over in the middle. State troopers pulled him over in the middle just to make sure it was him because they had his plate. Every camera he passed. Oh, he's here. He's here. He's here. Oh, in about 20 minutes, he's going to be passing overpass highway 535. State trooper, Mr. Smith, we need you to pull him over when he passes you and just pull him over for something minor like window tint so we can make sure it's him. Got you, sir. Roger that. Pulled over. Oh, Yeah, just want to make sure you're good to go, Brian. Nice. Make sure your window tint, take that window tint off. Have a good day. Brian went on home, thinking nothing was wrong. Then the police go to Brian's house and search through his trash while he's not looking. The police can do. All right, I'm gonna tell you a little something. When it comes to trash, all right, when it comes to trash, when you're throwing evidence away or anything like that, they will cook through your trash. Now, illegal. Now, there's a way that is illegally and, or I should say, legally done and illegally done. Right? If your trash can, let's say it's trash night, you throw all your trash away and you roll it out. And where do you put your trash at usually when it's trash night, especially if you live in a house? You put it out on the street or the sidewalk. Once that trash hits the sidewalk or the street, it becomes public property. That means the police can look through it and you can't do nothing. But if that trash can is at your house in the backyard and you got a fence and that fence locked or something like that, they supposed to have a warrant searching through your trash. Well, Brian, they searched through his trash when they put it out on the street. And they got his fingerprints and DNA from the trash. For those of you guys that know my story, there is many Fox gas stations. Let him go. Waited for his final destination. He went to PA. Searched the trash. Liberty was secretive about the DNA and how he put the trash out. And you know how I know about the trash? So those of you guys that know my story, fugitive TV, I was a fugitive. I was on the fugitive on the run, right? I was on the run for 15 years. Long time. And I was so paranoid that I would cut my hair. Let's say I'm cutting my hair or something like that. Your hair's got DNA in it, right? So I would cut my hair. And to this day, I still cut my hair myself. I would cut my hair and I wouldn't throw the hair in the trash. I would put it and flush it down the toilet because I didn't want police going through my trash, looking through my DNA like, oh, we found him. He is here. Telling you, I used to do so much stuff. So that's how I know about the whole trash thing. That's how I know about all that. So yeah, he threw his trash away. They pulled it out to the street. They looked through the trash and they found DNA in his fingerprints and they matched it with what was it, the knife holder they found at the crime scene or something like that. And that's how it was like, oh, we got evidence now. It's him. Let's take him to jail and arrest him. Got caught over some trash. He shouldn't have went to his dad's house. That man shouldn't have did a lot of things, right? He shouldn't have did a lot. But now there's so we were talking about the whole reason why. So I've been looking in background. I'm looking in background in Keon's family, the mom, the dad, any siblings I can find. I'm looking in the background. I'm trying to look at criminal history. I'm trying to look at addresses. I'm looking at all that. I'm looking at even Kada Scott. I'm looking at her stuff. I'm looking at her family's history. I'm looking at all these things because I'm like, why? Keon was supposedly a street pharmaceutical person. When I heard that, my question was, is he the plug? Or is he a little middle guy that's nickel and diming out in the street? Because if he's nickel and diming out in the street, that means he answers to somebody else, right? He gets his stuff from somebody else. Some people were saying that it was a transaction that went wrong. I got emails saying that Kato was known to smoke. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, we all live when we're young. Whatever we do, I don't do anymore. I used to. I don't judge you. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care. As long as you ain't hurting nobody else, I don't care what you do. It don't mean you gotta be terminated over it though. Not so ever, right? So I got emails saying that she smoked. I don't know if that's true, but I did. So some people are saying it was a transaction that went wrong. Some people were saying it was jealousy because Keon wanted to be with her and she didn't want to be with him. Some people think it's the allegedly boyfriend. Supposedly he's not a boyfriend because she went on a date with this guy right before she went to work. This guy has a background record. I'm not going to expose his business out there, but he's got a background record. Um, I dug into some of her family. Some of the family has background records. Now, I'm not saying it relates, but when I start thinking of this, I'm thinking like, did somebody owe some money? Did somebody owe about somebody something? Let's put it this way. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm not saying it's the case. But I was like, well, did Kada owe somebody? She just started working. She got the job 2 weeks ago. Did she owe somebody money and for something like that? And they were like, oh, we got to do this. But usually when that happens, you got to owe a lot of money. Usually when that happens, right? Unless you're crazy. I have seen people get, unalived over $5 before. So, but I'm like, to do all that over, I don't know. Then I started thinking like, what if it's not? What if it's not Kada that owed the money? What if it's somebody in her family that owed the money? And they were like, oh, we can't get you. We can't get you. So this is who we gonna get because we can get this person. That happens a lot. Mafia did it a lot. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I grew up in LA, home of the Bloods and Crips, Mexican cartels, all that. And best believe, gang violence is everywhere, right? Every block. If they couldn't get you, they pulling a drive-by on your relative house. Sometimes your mama house. Sometimes it's bad, your grandmama house is getting hit up. If they can't get you, if they think you hiding out, they gonna pull you out some sort of way. Said my mom never threw her hair in the trash. She never threw her hair. I wonder why. You should ask her why she never threw her hair in the trash. You should ask her that. Maybe it's deeper. Yeah, you know what? And like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if it is. I wouldn't because you got the thing when the document came out and it showed these three people, right? These three people doing something with her from the car. I was like, hold on, there's three people involved in this? I don't think it's a love triangle because I'm sorry, I've been around a lot of criminals and let you do something like, oh man, I unalived Becky. Why? Oh, Becky didn't want to date me, bro, but I need you to come help me and drag. Man, man, you on your own. Mm-mm-mm. You should. Why you stupid? Why you do that? I ain't getting caught in your mess. But if you come up to you like, yo, Becky owe 15K, or Becky uncle own 50K or 50K, whatever it is. Some people do it for 1K. We gotta put in this work, bro. We gotta put in this work. Just for the set. Now you gotta go. You gotta go. You ain't got no choice. Because it's either Becky or you. Gotta go. Said just happened too fast with no thought or remorse. Yeah, I mean, we were all thinking that. It was just so fast, right? Like pick her up, bam. No, nothing. Just pick her up, you know? So yeah, I wonder that too. There was also speculation came out that solvents were used to burn the car, which we all know they were used to burn the car. That's how they burnt the car down. But there were also solvents were used to burn the body too. Supposedly they tried to burn the body as well before that. I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly that's another allegation that came out. It's a big mess when it comes to evidence. Now, I believe that the police have way more evidence that they're giving us. I believe they got video footage. I believe they have camera footage. I believe they have a lot. And the one reason why I believe that is because they're never going to give you their hand. Because if they give you their whole hand, one of us, somebody on the streets, can tamper with evidence by saying something or something like that. And not only that, the defense, his lawyer, Shaka, knows exactly what he's defending now. So now he can build this great strategy or try to build this great strategy because he knows exactly the hand that's dealt. So they're never going to give us the full clues and evidence, just bits and pieces, and they're going to keep the juicy stuff for themselves. So even if they have him on camera doing the unaliving or somebody, they're probably still not going to tell us yet because there's still a lot that they're trying to, like I said, there's two other people on video, right? So I know for a fact they're not going to do that. They're not going to give us everything, right? So it will be hard for us to sit here and try and solve anything. The only thing we can try and figure out is why. Why? Some people even told me about the sanitation worker that passed away. And hold on, because I was looking this up too. What was his name? Philadelphia sanitation worker. See if it pops up. Okay, yeah. So some people sent me even this. I got inboxes on this, and I've been trying to look this up too. Um, when did this happen? 2022. 2022, Najor Scott was convicted of the first-degree unaliving of a sanitation worker, Ikeem Johnson. This is in 2022. So some people sent me this, and they were saying that, hey, look into this. Could it be this Nashar Scott is related to Kada Scott? And Nashar Scott is the one who unalived Ikeem Johnson. I couldn't find, I mean, I tried with resources I have. I'm still going to keep looking. I could not find a relation to Nashar Scott and Kada whatsoever. I could not find. I was going to let you guys know I can't find it, but people were sending me emails on that. I even tried to find a relation between Ikeem Johnson and Keon and or whoever else is. I couldn't find a relation. Well, I didn't look for everybody that's in the paperwork. Just let you guys know that. But I did look to see if he was related to anybody in Keon's family. I didn't find that. Didn't find that. What I did find though is I think I know why Nashor Scott did it because I looked at Ikeem Johnson's record. He had an attempted charge on somebody. So I'm thinking it was revenge, and that's why Nashor Scott did what he did. But yeah, the FBI not playing. They definitely have evidence and still watching. I'm sure. Oh yeah, they watching everything. They watching everything. FBI watching everything. Gang related stuff. Yeah, and the thing is, out in Philly, I know you guys really don't have like Bloods and Crips, but y'all still got gangs. Y'all still got your own, your sets and your blocks, and things like that. So you guys are still they're still out there gang banging. That I do know. It's a little different than Chicago and LA, what I'm used to, but I know you guys are still out there gang banging. And when I was looking up stuff, I know Keon is related. I'm not going to say to what, but he is related. Okay, he's related to something. So I was wondering too, is it the whole set, the whole block that's involved? Y'all got Bloods and Crips out there, or like a little sprinkled in sections, I guess. Well, shit. BET, everybody a Blood and Crip now, I guess, huh? But yeah, it's crazy. Well, I'm gonna be on my community page. I'm gonna post my Patreon link. Actually, hold on. What is my Patreon link? Because like I said, I'm going to let's see here. What is it? Because I'm going to start posting on Patreon some unedited stuff. I don't know that way I ain't got it. I hate using these code words. Words. Oh, different names. Okay, all right. So different names. I think that's what I meant actually. That's what I meant actually. So like, in Cali, they would actually say I'm a blood, I'm a crip. But I guess there they would say there's something different, but it's very similar or maybe origined from that. I know like Chicago, vice lords and folks, but nowadays a lot of them aren't calling themselves vice lords and folks, but they're breaking off and other things, calling them something else like O Block. You know. Um, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. And my Patreon is actually Fugitive TV. Same as here, Fugitive TV. So you should be able to go to Patreon. Let's see. I'm about to look right now. But I'm going to post the link too. I'm putting it on my community page. I'm also going to put it in some of my videos as well. Or I should say in below in the description. Patreon. And can't wait to get rid of this cough. Find creator. Let's see if I pop right up. Fugitive TV. Yeah. So you can go to Patreon, and I'm gonna be putting a video up on there. Tomorrow I'm gonna do a video. So tomorrow night there's gonna be a couple videos. I might do a couple videos actually tomorrow night that's on there that's unedited. One's gonna be an Ellen Greenberg video I'm gonna put up there that's gonna be unedited, and I'm gonna show some of the photos that I have. I'm gonna show some of the things I have that I can't put on here. Um, that's probably gonna be the very first one. But yeah, you just go to patreon.com. You're going to see it says where it says search for creator, and just put Fugitive TV. I pop right up. And the first video is going to be tomorrow for you guys. Tomorrow night for Ellen Greenberg. But I want to say you're welcome for the info. Thank you. Thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you everybody. It's great talking to you guys. I love sitting here. I'm gonna start doing this once a week. Once a week I'm gonna start doing what is called weekly recaps, to where I'm recapping these events that I talk about for the entire week. So once a week I'm gonna start doing this where I sit down and we're gonna go over recaps. You guys can tell me everything you might have learned. You guys can even tell me other cases you might be talking to that I don't, because there's so many cases out there. It's so many stuff, so much stuff. And then every week, I'm also going to try and give you information. I'm also going to try and drop gems on you. I'm also going to try and tell you something that maybe somebody else ain't telling you. Maybe it's information about a case. Maybe it's even information about life itself, because that's what I'm about. Trying to help improve everybody that's around me. I'm trying to help improve people that I talk to. I'm all about positive energy, and that's what I'm about. So I'm all about justice for everybody I talked about today. Kada, Celeste, Ellen, justice for all three of them, justice for everybody else that's out there missing, justice for anybody that's out there going through abuse, any of that. Every child, woman, man, black, white, green, I don't care who you are. But thanks for the heart. Please follow me, TikTok, Fugitive TV. I'm on there too. Like, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great and blessed night. Wait. Almost forgot. Because you reminded me earlier. Somebody reminded me earlier. Yes. Rare Redemption. This is the book story of my life. As you see, it says not for resale because this is just a rough draft. I'm finishing up the last 10 chapters as we speak. Got 10 more chapters to go. I'm not finishing up. This is the whole story about from the beginning to how I grew up in school with just me and my mom, my little brother, moved around a lot. I was actually a good kid until when I started getting in trouble around 20, 21 years old, hanging around with the wrong crowd, went to prison, in and out of jail, even escaped jail a couple times. It's in the book. And I even tell you how I did it. And everything is in here. I lost a 3-year-old son. You name it, I probably have been through it. Okay? If you name it, I probably have been through it. So this is why I take some of these cases seriously, especially when it comes to individuals like Celeste and what happened to her, because I know what it feels like to lose a child. All right. And the book also takes you up until pretty much today. All right. Up until when I turned myself in. I'm gonna put my website is gonna be it's actually the website should be in my YouTube It's under www.raymarcel.com. Raymarcel.com. You'll see a little commercial for it when you go there. So raymarcel.com is not for sale yet, but it will be hopefully by the end of this year or early start of next year, okay? It was you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was you. Thank you for reminding me because I almost forgot. Almost forgot. I forget a lot. So much stuff going on, right? I forget a lot. But anyways, you guys take care. Talk to you later. Fugitive TV, I'm out.